We have systems, routines, survival strategies. We have figured out how to make our teaching job manageable and less overwhelming, at least on the surface. And yet, something still feels off, doesn't it? Because while we're all doing that, while we're holding things together, the ground beneath us keeps shifting. Policies change. Department of Education updates something again. The quarterly becomes trimester. And the curriculum keeps evolving. Evolves, evolves, and evolves. And the pace, it's faster than any of us can realistically keep up with. Meanwhile, this is the part that really hits. Many of our students still struggling with the basic competencies. So, what do? We compensate, we carry more, we stretch ourselves thinner, trying to fill the gaps that were never supposed to be ours alone to fill. And then burnout shows up. And when it does, this is what they said. Listen closely to how it is explained. You're just overwhelmed. You're too stressed. Maybe you're not coping well enough. And that explanation, it doesn't quite line, does it? Because it feels incomplete. And worse, it's misleading. What you're actually witnessing isn't just stress. Yes, it is not just a stress. It is a system quietly collapsing right at the intersection of neuroscience, institutional design, and cultural expectation. Let's zoom in first. Just you, the individual. At the neurological level, something very predictable happens. When you are placed in high demand, low recovery environment for too long, your brain stops distinguishing between urgent and constant. Everything starts to feel urgent. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do everything. Your cortisol dysregulated. Your executive functioning, like planning, prioritizing, and even holding focus, it starts to break down. So what happens? You become mentally narrower, less flexible, more exhausted. At the exact same time, you are being asked to do more complex tasks than ever before. That's not motivation problem. That's your biology under sustained load. Now, zoom out with me. Because this isn't just about what's happening inside your brain. Something bigger has shifted. The role of a teacher. It has changed. Quietly but dramatically. You are no longer just teaching content. You are stabilizing behavior, managing emotions, compensating for gaps in family system, holding space for identity, for distress, for confusion. The classroom has become something else entirely. Yes, it becomes something else. It becomes containment system for everything society couldn't hold elsewhere. But here's the catch, and this is important. No system can absorb a limited dysfunction without either restructuring or breaking. And the educational system, they haven't really done either. Instead, they have added layer upon layer of expectation, assuming that professionalism, goodwill, passion will somehow make up the difference. It is really disappointing. And this is where it gets psychological. Because now, you are placed in paradox. You are responsible for outcomes you do not control in an environment you did not design using tools that are increasingly insufficient. Just sit with that for a second. That creates a very specific kind of strain. a moral responsibility without structural authority. And that is one of the fastest way to burn anyone out. So, what's really going on here? Teacher burnout isn't just an individual problem. It's a signal, a symptom of something deeper. An institution that has expanded roles without restructuring the system to support them. It happens when society offloads its problems onto schools, emotional regulation gets outsourced to classrooms, administrative complexity rises faster than actual support, and the teachers are expected to absorb variables they cannot control. So what looks like burnout is actually a mismatch between what human minds and bodies can sustainably handle and what the system keeps demanding. So, now the question becomes, is this a reality, a problem, or a space for solutions? The answer is all three. First, it is reality. Human nervous systems have limits. That's not opinion, that's biology. Second, it is a problem. We have designed an education system that exceeds those limits consistently. Third, it is a solution space. Burnout is pointing us very clearly to where change is needed. So the first thing we need to do is redistribute responsibility, redesign classroom demands, rebuild boundaries, and rethink where emotional support actually belongs. But this is the problem. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot inspire your way out of burnout at scale. Because burnout isn't just a failure of passion. It's a failure of design. And maybe this is the part that we don't say out loud enough. We have built a system that quietly assumes that human beings have infinite emotional and cognitive elasticity. But we really don't. We really don't. And that assumption breaks against reality. When we realize it, the system doesn't collapse immediately. Instead, it produces exhausted people. People who keep showing up, who keeps absorbing the cost, who keep holding things together silently. So burnout isn't just suffering. So what is burnout? It is not just suffering. It is a feedback. And systems that ignore feedback don't stay stable forever. And eventually, what we call resilience turns out to be something else entirely. Just delayed collapse. I hope this train of thought helps you. I appreciate that you watched this video until the end. Be more successful, make your life meaningful. See you in the next video.